Okay, in this next example, we're going to revisit a problem that we did in one of the previous slides, and that is integral x squared e to the x dx. And we're going to look at a little bit of a simpler way of handling this problem. Now, how do we know when to use this strategy? Well, we have two factors again. We have the e to the x, which is going to persist throughout iterations of the process. And then we have x squared, which we're going to differentiate, and that is going to lose 1 degree each time we take the derivative of it, and eventually it will disappear. So what we want to do in this case, instead of doing the repeated integration by parts, is use what is called tabular integration by parts. And to do this, we're going to set up two columns. One column for the factor that we will be differentiating, and one column for the factor that we're going to integrate. So I set up the x squared and the e to the x. Now I'm going to take derivatives of x squared, since that would be my u variable. And I get 2 to the x, and the derivative of that would be 2, and the derivative of that would be 0. Then for e to the x, the integral is always going to be e to the x. So I can just fill that in. Now it won't always be that simple, but in this case the integral of e to the x will continue to be e to the x through each iteration. Now the next thing I do is make a stair step going down. So I draw a line between x squared and the e to the x that is below and to the right of it, not to the one that is right next to it, but below and one step down. And then I continue to do that. Make a line between the 2x and the e to the x that is below and to the right of it, and a line between 2 and e to the x that is below and to the right of it. Next, we need to deal with the signs. So the signs will start off positive and then just alternate as we go through. So first positive, then negative, then positive again. And at this point we're ready to put the parts together. And we get x squared e to the x, then minus 2x e to the x, and then 2 e to the x. And in the end, if we factor out an e to the x, we would have e to the x times the quantity x squared plus 2x plus 2, and this would be an example of tabular integration by parts. And that'll do it for this problem and this video.